So it's weird you see it on so many other teams that someone's playing the slash, but they don't really have that tool in their arsenal at the moment.
That's certainly a weakness, I think, right now. A slash being as strong as she is, especially in sacrifice, denying the obelisk, the power-up. We've seen some great slash play all through today, in duel and in sacrifice. A very useful champion. I would say that's certainly a detriment for them.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to have that versatility.
No, absolutely. And I just saw that, I think that was Juvenile playing on the Nyx, I believe. He's moved away from the Scale Bearer. Just as I was saying, the Scale Bearer is someone that can be quite nice on Blood Covenant. He's going to be moving away from that. But they are going to be keeping a hold of the Sorlag. They've definitely said, I was chatting to them in the back, and they really think that, you know, Sorlag is still really impactful. And we've seen that Bus Drive has been very effective.
Yeah, I think Sorlag, as we mentioned earlier, a little brought more in line with the other champions. So it's not that she's underpowered, it's just not that the degree we saw before, where it just seemed like she had a little extra than everybody else. So she's more in the pack. I kind of agree with you that I'm a little surprised seeing Scale Bearer not being picked, because one of the nice strategies we see in SAC is when the power-ups comes up, they charge that timing, the charge right through the portal, and they end up right on top of the power-up with the charge. It's very tough to do that when, you know, if they time it right. I mean, that's usually a choo-choo, and I got the power up.
And the amount of those that we saw earlier from Juvenile as well. I mean, I think on reflection, maybe they felt that the mobility they had without the Bull Rush was something that they needed to sacrifice that, try something else. So maybe Nyx is going to be something that could blend that lineup a little more strong for them.
Well, we certainly, like, let's take Too Good as an example from an earlier game. Nyx is also very great on the power-ups. If you can time that Ghost Walk, assuming you can keep it up, that's one of the things. You don't want to burn it, because it has a long cooldown, and then you don't have it for the power-up. So Too Good was really great earlier, and I'm curious to see if they use that kind of similar strategy. Ghost Walk, time that power-up, so when you're popping out, you maybe telefrag somebody, or at the very least steal it right away.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be so careful when you use the abilities. It almost doesn't matter the champion, but guys, the music's kicked in. We're getting into game now. winrar, licensed salesman, going in the loser bracket round versus the Unlovables. The game begins, and we're on a C-cap over here, starting up on the Sorlag. And also the starting nail gun as well, which is something popular for these guys.
Yeah, I think these long corridors on Blood Covenant, you can really utilize that nail spam and deny, especially in the bridge area too, that you can spam it down there to the power-up.
And everyone seems to appear there at the same time. Sen got a couple of decent frags, but it is Sparty rushing with the Berserk. Managed to get himself a quick punch across. They secured that first point. And since they did that so quickly, they should have a few moments to set up for the power-up. But a very quick return attack from the Unlovables.
Yeah, it's still in the balance. They're very good that they got it back that quickly. If the Unlovables can get this power-up, they'll be off to a good start, despite the fact that winrar got that first cap.
I find that an issue almost is that they put so much focus on getting the counter-attack, but they had no one there to attack the power-up. So although great, they're been getting some points, they've already lost control of it, and Sparty didn't even have to put that much pressure on himself.
This is one of those, that's one of those risks where we've seen it many times where teams have that choice. Do we attack, do we steal the obelisk while the power-up's coming up? But then you risk having men short, you know, a man short or two, and yeah, you give up that power-up, and now man.
He's trying to get a couple of the quad damage frags going, but he doesn't get much more than the quad berserk that we got earlier, and eventually it is going to be a whole host of red names taking down the Unlovables. And now we see it, tied up game in the early stages over here, as we see Unlovables trying to arrange some sort of attack.
Yeah, winrar will look to probably establish a strong position on the bridge area here above the obelisk. Usually I see that people like to put like 2 people up on bridge, maybe 1 on bridge, 1 on rail, and then another couple guys down here to skirmish. So pretty similar setup.
We've got a good amount of pressure just then from the Unlovables, going down into the lower routes, but they're running into a whole host of damage at the moment, but they're still picking up the frags themselves, and one of them still has it. It's C-cap on the Sorlag, looking for a way back. He's trying to look, teammates, tell me, where do I go at the moment? Eventually he gets taken down, and it will be Bus Driver taking lead.
Yeah, he just had nowhere to go there, and it's just, I agree with you. Where's the call out from his teammates to tell him, hey, don't go through that portal, take another route, delay it.
And we're now leading up, okay. We're now leading up towards the next power-up. It's going to be Protection, that's going to be spawning. And we're seeing an attack happening from Unlovables, where any second now, they need to be focusing on, all right, get over to that protection. That is the primary goal at the moment. Sentinel's probably going to have an easy way back to base, but he's not there supporting his teammates at protection.
This is the risk you take. I mean, it's almost, you almost question, should you just bring the soul to the power-up fight? I mean, at that point, because the protection is just so valuable.
And Sparty at the moment suffering a little bit, not having extra health, but I think he's just going to go in with this anyway. He needs some teammates to support him, finding their health bubbles down on the lower floor. Gets a frag on bot mode, and they have finally managed to move away the soul.
Yeah, very, very risky there by Sparty, but it worked out for him. He had nice high ground and stole those health bubbles to kind of keep him going, and yeah, it's a good job.
And Juvenile, he's just looking finally some health. He's not railable himself, trying to find a way. I think he meant to double jump across, or he's just taking the long route. And eventually going down, Juvenile gets killed by Seacup. He's just got the pummel waiting for his descent, and they're immediately onto the counterplay to get that soul back to base.
I love that. You just see him dive bombing from high ground and land right on top of a gauntlet.
It was almost in slow motion, I felt that was going on. You could see it happening a mile away. But okay, bus driver. Lovely job, sir, with those rockets, and a nice little nail gun spam, meaning bus driver is not able to be any help to his team there.
So they're doing a good job. They're slowly getting a lead here. Oh, nice.
Got to watch out for the pummel there. Seacap, good little stack, forcing out the Ghost Walk there from Juvenile, and trying to put some pressure on, and he is just magically passed away that soul. So we'll transfer over to one of his mobile teammates, and he is landing some lovely shots at the moment.
Yeah, great support. C-Cap supporting his teammate there with some great rocket play, taking out those guys, making sure they get that cap. And he's still pretty stacked, so he's going to be good for defense here.
Yeah, that's it. They're trying to clear out the base a little bit at the moment, and if they can manage to finally clear it, then they say, all right, guys, let's all move over to the quad at the same time and secure this. We got Sen there having a fight with Bus Driver X. So, Doomslayer coming out on top.
Yeah, they really should focus on the power-up. I'm surprised they went back like, oh, somebody got it.
Oh, really? They got Kane. Kane was really like, yeah, I got it, guys. Don't worry. We cleared out enough of them, and we can make things safe now.
Does it seem like to you that maybe winrar lost a little bit of tracking on the power-up that time? Because I didn't see much of a presence there other than Bus Drive.
They just fell apart so much sooner. The Juvenile has been getting heaps of shotgun frags. He's got himself the soul now. Plenty of quad timer left. Ooh. Okay, bot mode. He comes back with the gauntlet. There's just so little stack for Juvenile to work with. He dies so rapidly on Nyx.
This is a big turnaround for Unlovables. They're really starting to settle in here, and man, what a turnaround.
Yeah, and Juvenile not playing on that scale bear anymore. He's got to remember, I'm not massively stacked a lot of the time, like I was before. Let's be very careful. Sparty is going to be able to take down bot mode. He's now doing work on this point. But Sen, is he going to eventually be able to take him down? We've got a huge attack coming across from the winrar players. But look at that, almost double the score now from Unlovables. We need to see some pressure from the Europeans.
Wow, they're just, yeah, they're really slowly inching ahead here.
I finally got away, but that nail gun damage was ruthless.
They definitely paid for that. Yep.
Explosions. I think that was Juvenile who had it just a moment, the soul. They'll be looking for a way around. It is being passed. But Seacap, he saw the armor but didn't manage to quite get it. I think that was winrar just getting it onto the point for a moment. They're going to have a few moments where they should try and defend before they can go to the next power-up. But they already lost all their players.
Yeah, this is definitely a problem right now for them. They don't seem to be able to get any kind of rhythm. Unlovable seems to be getting the better of them sometimes in this team combat. Maybe they're just a little more on point in terms of choosing the correct targets. You know, it makes a big difference when your team is, you know, versus everybody on their own target, or your teammates, everybody's taking down one target at a time. It makes a big difference.
I just like the way that Unlovables play. It's so cohesive as a team. They seem to be listening to each other, and you know, no egos or anything getting in the way, and you know, trying to make preferential plays. I'm loving what they're doing right now, and it's finding them success here on the first round. We're going to be looking for a final attack in a moment. It's going to be Lith with the protection. Surely this is going to be something good for him, looking to get another frag. But you know what? Leaving him weak isn't also a bad idea too.
Very nice. They really needed that one.
Well, getting some directs over here. Trying to find another, clear out this small alley room. And the protections run out. Trying to find the mid-air at the end, won't quite get it, but the endless aggression from Unlovables, is it going to be working for them?
still got that cap so far. They haven't broken it yet. So winrar, if they put up a strong defense here, it's going to get tied relatively quick. Oh, there we go. They
Stolen. Oh, Sen, he misses the jump. He's going to fall at the feet of Juvenile there. And Liss bringing it back for the team. Trying to chase that 90% that Unlovables currently have. And they're doing a good job of it at the moment. We've also got a fair amount of time until the power-up spawns.
Yeah.
So if they can hold on to this, they might even be able to see this through to a round win unless Unlovables can do something.
Yeah, absolutely. They should be thinking strong defense and get next power-up to close the show on this round. This round has been very much a back-and-forth battle. It's very interesting.
It's been good. There's a bit of a sort of panic throw over there, but just, sometimes that's the right thing to do. Just throw that soul as far away from the obelisk as you can and reduce the time that they have got the points escalating for.
Yeah, and also you don't know what kind of randomness can happen when you throw it that way. Maybe your teammates come in and support, or maybe they make an error trying to go grab it.
We're 1% between the two teams. Bot node bringing it back on the Anarchy. He's going to meet some foes just as he gets to the base by getting some much needed points. Teammates there supporting brilliantly. We've got the power up very soon, but you can't focus on it now.
Yeah, very great. I love how his teammates just came in and supported him like that. You can see the coordination. We've seen this many times. winrar's in a tough position. They could not go for the quad because they have to attack the obelisk. And now this is going to be Kane looking to close. Yeah, Kane's going to close the show right here. Yep.
Wow, 100% reach there for the Unlovables. Going to be feeling good after that one. There was almost a bit of a comeback coming from winrar Salesman, but they are going to have to do something about this. They picked this map.
Man, these guys, Unlovables are starting, they're gonna make me eat my words here in a minute.
I'm gonna have to write something else on this piece of paper then. Damn. Yeah, because they're looking, this is something that I think people have been anxious about. A lot of Europeans really want to see the winrar licensed salesman deliver on LAN. If they fall to a 4th place, that is gonna be, a lot of people, some reputations on the line, maybe.
Well, I always talk about, the NA-EU rivalry, and I always say it's very much a back-and-forth thing. I don't think any teams have really dominated it. Maybe we have a year or two where NA seems to do well, then EU comes right back. So this is nothing more. I know the American players and the NA players, they wanted to do better than they did in the last tournament. And, obviously the European players want to keep their status as we're the dominant, group. So this is interesting.
Well, at the beginning of this round, we've seen the winrar licensed salesman. They did get the obelisk first, like they did in the first round, but they didn't immediately lose the soul. So they've managed to get 17%, but there it is, the attack with the quad. Were they able to move the soul away, though? I believe there's a teammate who's just chasing to the other end, but Sen nowhere in sight to support the teammates. However, it doesn't seem to matter because they've captured the soul nicely and all the blue players are live and kicking.
Yeah, they got that, man, they got that soul over there fast.
Until Juvenile just had a crazy killing spree. Sparty, he's on it. He's got a really nice stack, actually, and they're moving as a unit right now, trying to get rid of the players in their way. I think Sparty wants to hold on to the stack as long as he can. Look at that, the Mega as well.
He is ready for combat.
He just needs to get onto the base, and now he should be able to defend quite well. The amount of damage that Sparty's been doing just then, but he still lets go of the soul in the end. Can Sparty do anything in the end? I don't even know if he got a kill. He was just doing hundreds of damage.
I'm amazed that, wow, Unlovables kind of got that out of there. They're really good on their attacks, but it seems like winrar this base, I'm wondering if maybe they have a little more comfort over here on this side versus the other side of the map. They seem to be doing a little bit better on defense.
Yeah, that could be it. It seemed a lot more certain going over here, and we've had a little bit of, one of each now.
Yep.
See what kind of love this can get. Otherwise, they're going to be the second round heroes. Juvenile trying to get rid here of Kane. Eventually is able to do that. Sparty, we've got a fist fight going on at the moment where he's going to take down Sen and eventually gets control of his weapons once more, but they're doing very well at the moment, hitting that 40%. We're going to have the quad coming up in about 10 seconds time.
Yeah, if they get this quad, Unlovables is going to be in a really bad shape for this round.
CCAP there with a good frag just then. He's even going to be able to secure this, but can he get the frags that he needs? There is Sparty that looked like he was putting some pressure on him, but he eventually gets hold of it. And his teammate, thank you please. And he wasn't trying to move, guys. He was trying to just give that, give that away.
That's a very common play. It's good to give it to a more stacked player and not risk giving it to an enemy team. Oh my goodness.
Sen popping off with these rockets, looking absolutely amazing with him. He's just got a couple of seconds left of this. Is there any more frags in the bag? not quite in the end, but definitely managed to get a nice little showreel for himself for a second. Unlovables picking up the percentage points once again, chasing that halfway mark that winrar currently are at.
I like what Sparty's doing here. That's great position for clearing that obelisk for your teammates. Just slamming rockets down around there. Now he picked up the heavy armor. He's in great shape right now to support his team. Oh.
Wow, brutal attack just then for a moment. Unlovables, again, racking up those points. Minute away to the power-up. Juvenile and his team are going to be wanting to put the pressure on at the moment. Great frags, very important from Juvenile to land that. He's going to pass it over to the bridge. I think a teammate was there to pick it up.
Yes.
Yeah, it was bus driver. A nice route that he's taken. I love that. Great improvisation. Going to be able to bring it back safely. Trying to get the acid spit as well.
Big cap coming into this next power-up. We've said it many times how important it is when the other team has the control of the obelisk in the soul to get the steal before the power-up, so that way they're not getting those percentages while you're fighting over it.
Yeah. Kane does steal away the soul just in time, but you know what, I'm not sure that winrar are going to be focusing too much on taking this back rather than getting the protection, which is next. If they get protection, they can get themselves within reach of winning this round, and that is such a huge focus for them at the moment.
It does seem like Unlovable's a little more coordinated typically around the power-ups. They've been getting quite a few of them.
Juvenile's done it. Perfect play with the Nyx to initiate onto that. Now he's going to find himself going on the attack. Brilliant nail gun damage from him. His team is all over this. He's probably want to pass it to himself. There we go. He's going to be taking 25% of normal damage, and it should be an easy route for him to get home.
Yeah, that was great power-up defense. They finally got there as a team set up and really didn't allow Unlovables to get anything going. Wow, he's taking a lot of damage, even for protection. He was getting hit from multiple angles.
I don't even think he got the soul back in the end. I think that was a lift in the end, drives it there, and it's just as I was about to compliment Juvenile for doing so much with so little time used on the protection to that point. Even with, like, it looks like thousands of damage he was doing with the nail gun.
Still in good shape, though, now. It's really close, though, man. This is very close. Interesting.
After the way that I saw Unlovable's playing against Stacks, I mean, I knew that they were going to be a bit of a threat, but they're still, I think they keep delivering so nicely.
They definitely have a great team cohesion, this Unlovables team. I think, like I said, regardless of what happens here, they think that they have a bright future and they need to keep working at this because they're a solid team.
He's going to pass it over to a teammate for a moment. Looks like they're going to bring it back, and they're just gravitating towards the faces of his enemies. Those rockets are absolutely amazing, and C-Cap going to continue defending honorably over there.
And I got to say, how many times have we seen C-Cap just come through like a beast?
He's been absolutely awesome. And these are a lot of players that I think are still making names for themselves in the scene. So these little reels that we're getting from them is exactly what they need at the moment. And they are just staring at tying up the score that winrar Salesmen have. And they have now surpassed that. We've finally got to throw it over. Juvenile there, ready to take it. That's their little setup on the attack of the soul. But there it is, bot mode coming in with the pummel.
In this next, and so that's a huge steal. We got the power-up coming up like right now, any second. Who knows? I mean, whoever gets this power-up really could win. If Unlovables gets it, I mean, they could win this map right now. I mean, yeah. And winrar, they have to get the steal and they have to get this power-up.
There it is, they got it. The pressure is on them at the moment. Trying to defend his teammates. Bus driver doing a great job. And he has got the soul right next to him. He's going to have to follow Juvenile back to base, and you can see now on the X-ray all the pressure that we're getting from the side, from the winrar license, from the Unlovables.
It's very important. They need to get this cap back trail.
Wow, he goes down as well. Wow. Bot mode taking him out. They did just get it back onto the point. Bot mode now on the attack, and all of the players from winrar license Salesmen are going down. This is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's just great shotgun work. First the nails that he lined up, and then the great shotgun work around the obelisk. I'm just really impressed with these guys.
And the pummel technique not working for them. Bot mode just side-strafing right around them and making it look easy. They're just 3% away from taking map number 1. This would be a huge relief for them. Look at that, on the 99%. We're trying to throw all the bodies to the obelisk, but they take it on the 2-0.
Wow.
Unlovables. What are they doing?
See, this is what I get.
Look at this.
This is what I get for going against NA. This is my punishment right now.
I don't call it punishment right now. This is just sickening at the moment. But yeah, they definitely deserve that. They played as a unit way better. The counter-attacks were very good from them. Even though I think that maybe the power-up, the way that they played on the power-ups, I think, was a bit better from winrar. I think that everything outside of that was so much better from the Unlovables.
Yeah, it's just, you can see their coordination when they're attacking the obelisk, and even on defense, there were a couple times where the power-up we saw their guy get away was with quad, or we took the soul, and out of nowhere, all of a sudden, his teammates just came in to support.
Yeah.
Enemies were in hot pursuit, and then, the enemy team thought they had him. Next thing you know, they get sideswiped, 2-3 guys, they get wiped, and it's like, wow.
There were very few moments where the winrar salesmen were able to think, okay, we can breathe easy now for a moment, we can just rack up a few points. There was that constant pressure. And although they were piling on the pressure to Unlovables, it just seemed to mean a lot less for them.
And it just seemed like at more points of the game, whether it's obelisk defense or attacking, it just seemed like the Unlovables were wiping the entire team of winrar, to the point where they're all respawning, they're just sitting there, and now they're grouped, they're stacked, they got an arsenal, and you know what a big deal that is when everybody's wiped, and everybody's down to nail gun, shotgun, machine gun, what have you, and then the other team's stacked, they got a full arsenal. It made a big difference.
Yeah, completely. And I think some of the slash plays that we saw from them as well were absolutely brilliant. The way that they were locking down the choke points at the end and say, oh, you want to cap with the quad? Well, you're not going to be able to do that because I've just potentially infinite amount of damage is in your way if you choose to go through this.
And we, kind of pointed that out, the absence of slash on winrar, and it's kind of a detriment. I really do.
Yeah.
I think slash is very much needed right now in Sacrifice.
For sure.
She's very strong. I think Anarchy and Slash, maybe you can go away from Anarchy, because he doesn't leap, but Slash, I think, is a great runner, and then the trail and everything is just very disruptive.
Definitely. Well, we've got Burial Chamber that will be coming up next, and this is a map pick from Unlovables. They look pretty good on that, although I do feel it was slightly, they kind of had to get the keep obelisk in order to really secure things more certainly, because otherwise when they played against Stack, that's when they seemed to get demolished if they didn't manage to secure the right obelisk.
And, we've seen it time and time again, actually, with Burial Chamber. Whoever gets, the church side, the upper obelisk, if you will, it's just a much more powerful choke point, in my opinion. It's you got the light armor in there. You're just a few strafe jumps away from the heavy armor. It's a good defensible position. There's really only two real entry points through doorways. I think it's the more defensible obelisk.
Yeah, it's hard to get those rails in as well. I mean, when you've got the cave side, it's just, you can get the long distance damage so much, and on top of that, just the nail gun damage that can come from inside out is really, really hard to deal with. You know what, I might have to change my, it's not really a prediction anymore. I think that Unlovables might do this. I think I'm losing faith in winrar at the moment, and I think Unlovables are on a brilliant run right now and look for at least top 3. But let's go, and we see a few of the champions being selected over here, moving into Burial Chamber. A lot of light champions there, it looks like, picked by Unlovables, plus the Doomslayer. Sorlag was in there, didn't manage to catch too much of a glimpse of what winrar were picking there, but I don't think it was too different to what we saw on Blood Covenant.
No, and one of the things I kind of wonder about their picks, the only one that they have that can really put a presence around an obelisk with an ability is their Sorlag. Versus the other side, you got the Doomslayer, who can kind of just go berserk and punch around the obelisk. They have their Slash, they can lay a trail around the obelisk. I think they're just a little more versatile on the Unlovable side with their picks.
Yeah.
And it might pay off for them.
That's true. I mean, I know some people have said in the past that Burial Chamber is quite a difficult map to play effectively with the Slash because of the humps and bumps across the map where you can lose certain momentum. But even so, I think Slash, they generally think they favor the actual the utility with the plasma trail, tends to surpass any kind of mobility issues that there happen to be. But to be seen. Do you think that winrar can do this, or?
Wow,
you losing faith in winrar as well?
Yeah, I'm losing a little faith in my pick here. Honestly,
that's dangerous.
I was just really impressed with Unlovables.
If you pick Unlovables, maybe then you'd be cursed and it will go back into EU.
No,
so be careful what you say now.
Yeah, I'll just I'll eat my words. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I thought winrar would come out with a really strong performance, but Unlovables has been the one that's really shown up in map 1.
Yeah.
But hey, we've seen it. Things can change. We're going into a new map. Maybe they're talking up some secret strategies over there, winrar, some adjustment they can make. Yeah, they're going to have to do something.
Absolutely. Well, guys, we're going into map number 2 right now between Unlovables and winrar licensed salesmen. Potentially, winrar are facing elimination from the tournament if they lose this. But we're going to be on board with Sen at the beginning, who pops an early berserk, just trying to get some control of weapons across the map, but it turns out to be fruitless for him.
Now, I'm really curious. We've seen kind of 2 strategies. Do you go for the soul and then try to capture it as a team? Or maybe you defend the side that you want to make
They're
sure.
gonna get it.
No, they're going to get this.
Wow, okay, so already, I mean, what I said before the series even started, and some maps, certain obelisks are so crucial. This is a really important moment. Already now we've got a slight uphill battle from winrar. So whatever success they do get with the other obelisk, I mean, it really is to be highlighted.
And one of the other things I like about this side is when you come in, when you come in for this power-up attack, you're coming in from the high position rather than the low position. And as we've seen, as we know in Quake, high ground, definitely good to have.
100%. And now a little bit of health. Wow, okay. Kane, that was so quick the way he did that work with the plasma trial. He's going to bring it back to the obelisk and say, thank you, please. I'm going to continue the defense. And Juvenile is going to feel totally ripped off from that. All right, okay, Liz did manage to get a frag. Bus Driver taking over that, but bot mode hitting a very important rail just then. I think that was Juvenile managed to get the quad for half a second before being taken out by bot mode once more.
And you can see just the difficulty it is just getting into that area. I mean, you're taking damage on the way in. I mean, that's just a given. So the question is, how do you organize your team in a way that some guys are going to absorb the shot so somebody else can come in and steal it? And I really feel like maybe get it out of there and just throw it off the edge.
Sen actually stepped away from base for quite a long time, and during that point, maybe his teammates would have loved to have had his calling. But it looks like the rest of the guys are doing a great job, and he's there for the pass back to bring it back into the obelisk. So it looked like we were finally about to see a few percentage points when the Unlovables have been getting so much for winrar to do something, but it's not happened yet.
And again, you know, when winrar did get it out, they had an opportunity to throw it off the side of the map. I really think they need to utilize that strategy because it helps. This is a tough area to get out of.
So they're almost 60% right now for Unlovables. We're yet to see anything. If we see the 100-0, then, you know, it's going to be a dark evening for the winrar players. CCAP under a lot of pressure over here. I mean, health quite fast.
They really need.
Bye-bye.
Off you go. Yeah, they really need a steal here going. You got 15 seconds to this power up. They need a steal. They can't let Unlovables just sit here and continue to, you know, I mean, it's going to be over really quick.
Yeah, I think what they're going to do is they're going to cut their losses at the moment on the attack, and they're going to focus on trying and get this protection. This seems like the only way they're going to get something done, but that is CCAP with a brilliantly timed Ghost Walk, managing to secure himself the protection, bring it back to base, and there's so much pressure that he's handling flawlessly.
This kid's amazing. He's hitting some great shots, very accurate, very consistent.
And he should be able to hold on for the protection for the rest of the time. Only 11 health left, and he's got hardly anything. He might even suicide, gives it over to a teammate who hasn't got much more, but it's enough to see through the rest of the protection. Look at that, we're on 99% right now. The soul has been touched for a second. And is the full 100-0 going to be denied? List bringing it back and saying, I don't care what happens, I just do not want to fall down to what was effectively a sort of ace, I guess you could say, and sacrifice.
Oh man, now they're up against it here. They have to put up the most epic defense. It is possible. Yeah. I've seen some good defensive on this obelisk, but you really have to control those alleyways that you mentioned because you can see so far. And the problem is the other team can also shoot back at you through those same alleyways.
They're already losing control of it. 11% was got from winrar before CCAP is already blasting back to base. He's got a teammate beside him to help out. Going to get the frag on Bus Driver. It's actually mutual in the end, I believe. And oh my god, the amount of frags that are going on just there. Was that Lift that just grabbed it then with the Anarchy? It is. And he's going to rocket jump all the way back, trying to get the frag on bot mode, rocking the opposing Anarchy.
Good recovery by winrar to get that steal back.
Yeah.
I mean, as we said, they can't afford any mistakes now. They can't even afford to miss the power-up. They got to be perfect right now.
We've got some dancing between the two Anarchies at the moment. Some heavy competition between them. And it's very difficult at the moment for winrar to organize the players to say, okay, who's going for the power-up, who's staying on the base. But fortunately for them, they've just had a perfect defense, and they can now move together to the power-up with enough time. Yeah,
they absolutely need to secure this. I'm wondering if Unlovables might do something a little sneaky here because they only need 1%. They might be able to take somebody off to steal while they're doing this.
Oh, CCAP did get it. He's been absolutely critical stealing away some of these big power-ups.
That was a big steal. Juvenile putting in work.
Yeah, and he needs to do work at the moment. He's trying to get a few of the resources. He's not vulnerable to a rail anymore, but he moves away the crosser just as he was going to go for that angle. Wow, bot mode. Important shot from him, and this is going to be attack from the inside out. All the frags. Now what we need to see from the winrar guys is they need to load up all the way over at the Unlovables base.
Yeah, really tough. At least that quad is finally worn off, but you see them, they're getting fragged. They're on respawn timers, 2 of them. One of them got back up.
That was close. That was almost about to be, Obelisk on point, going to pass it over to a teammate that he spotted on the side. That was a great pass over to Juvenile, but the pressure with the gauntlet. Lith now trying to handle this well, but he didn't quite pass it to an enemy, and he should just about be able to make it back. The constant pressure that's going on. Lith finally doing something heavily impressive here that we've seen from him in the past.
Yeah, that was a great pass. Was that Sparty who threw that over there? Or yeah, it was a great pass.
It was threw it over to Juvenile, and then Juvenile threw it forward for Livs, but there was constant trades going on, which they managed to handle the pressure very, very well. And we've got a whole heap of the winrar salesman guys on their base at the moment, and they're slowly making it back. But when I'm looking over at the kill feed, there's just so many blue names fragging the red ones.
Yep.
I mean, there's no easy job.
And especially when they only need 1%, so
yeah.
Any mistake. And again, here comes power up in about 20 seconds, so what do you do here? Because now they got the steal.
They've got it on there, but we've got maximum pressure right now. Sparty, important frag for him to land. How many more are we going to be able to get? I think they might have fragged almost everyone. They need to get on the point. Juvenile goes down. Kane trying to get some important frags going. List is there right at the end. No, it's just Bus Driver. He has to throw it off, and he's not able to. Where are the winrar players?
And again, so they were stuck because they had to jump on it. Now they have protection over there for Unlovables.
Wow, that was
they're
seriously
gonna close
close.
this out right here.
Yeah, they've got it. Oh no, there's still more pressure, but they've managed to frag all of them once again. Are we going to get the 100? At last we are. That's 3 rounds in a row now for Unlovables, and victory is in sight.
You know, impressive start for them, and you know, winrar if they're going to take anything from that round is don't give up a 60-0 lead. I mean, they made a great comeback, or excuse me, 99-0. They made a great comeback and made it interesting there, but it was just too much to overcome.
Completely. I think if they were able to come back and get to 100 to 99 and win, then it would be a huge mental difficulty for Unlovables on the map.
That's a huge psychological boost for the team.
But you know what? They've done it. We're going to get this soul. Now, this is really important. We've got to focus to see where this soul is going to end up going. Looks like Bus Driver's got it, and he wants to make sure we get Obelisk A. They've secured it. Now, if things go as history suggests,
you should have an easier time.
Then winrar should have a much more likely time to take this round.
But, you know, to give credit to the Unlovables, they're really coordinated at times with their attacks. They seem really on top of things. And at times, winrar seems a little scattered and unorganized. So they need to be on top of it here.
Your team has the quad.
And that is Juvenile. He managed to take the quad, actually. Going to be able to get the armor in the end, but where has that soul gone off to? It was chucked off the edge, so it spawns in the middle, and he's trying to put the pressure on, but he gets stuck right in the middle of all the action and ends up losing his life.
I find it interesting that Unlovables they implemented the strategy I said to get it out of there. Is just throw it off the edge. Don't worry about getting out of there. There's so much open space by that heavy armor when you leave that object. You're going to get lit up.
And look at that, they only let 7% drop until they managed to get it back to their obelisk. So they've done really, really well already. That quad, it's there, but it's got barely seconds remaining on it. So no focus will be paid on it from the winrar salesman. Nice little frags here from Sparty. Has got some opponents in front of him and wants teammates, please take care of me a little bit over here. Sparty does get hit by one rail in the end, but is able to bring it back to base.
It looks like they're settling in a little bit here. This is the obelisk they want. This is where their turnaround can happen. Now all it takes is one round, just one round win, just to get the momentum going that other direction.
His bot mode bringing it back again, having a good anarchy game, but he slows himself a lot the way that he decided to use the injection just then and wasn't able to continue the run. So Sparty on the way back, he just gets stolen in front of him. I don't think he even needed to throw the soul just then. He didn't have the berserk up, so it made no sense at that particular moment. But to be seen now what's going on. Bot mode under pressure above, so he's not going to be able to easily sink into his base to return the soul.
Might want to think about throwing this off the side.
Oh, I don't know if he meant to throw it that far off, actually. It looked like a sort of half-assed throw in some respect. But the soul is going to respawn at almost the same time that we've got the protection up. Did Kane get that? Oh, he just slid through at the right moment.
And he did a little plasma trail on the way through.
Now, I'm wondering, because it was the winrar license salesman that had the soul, but it was thrown off once more.
Yep.
They weren't able to just hold on to it for a while and try and burn that protection time that Kane's got.
They're doing a really good job, Unlovables, of, as you mentioned earlier, keeping the percentages. Even though winrar's had some time to capture the soul and been on it, they really haven't gained much.
Yeah. I mean, we've got over 3 minutes. We've got barely 40% between the two teams. This is actually a really slow game at the moment, and there's a lot going between the points that are being accumulated on the on the obelisks.
And now look at Unlovables pulling ahead in this match right now.
Goes down the bounce pad. Didn't really want to do that. We got bot mode looking for some pretty opportunistic mid-airs. Not going to work out for him in the end.
Juvenile has been really putting. Juvenile's been high. I keep seeing his name pop up on the kill feed.
Oh man, heavy fraggers, all of the guys over on the winrar license salesmen. But you know what? This mode isn't just about the fragging.
Right.
You've got to be focused on the objective, and it is that team cohesion that really rewards you the most.
Yeah, you can't be too focused on kill-death ratio and sacrifice.
Yeah.
Granted, it's obviously not good to die over and over again.
Yeah.
But you need to be there, and sometimes, yeah, you're going to be the sacrificial lamb. You need to get in there with your team.
And the winrar license, they probably expected to have a much easier time, but they're losing at the moment. They got half the score that Unlovables have got. They're probably wondering what the hell is going wrong at the moment. Why can't we, get things going together?
Some great nail gun work by CCAP guarding those entryways.
CCAP's been an absolute beast so far. One of my favorite guys
Animal.
To watch on the Unlovables team. And we have got almost 50% now for Unlovables.
We got quad coming up about 5 seconds now. So who's going to get this power up again? Unlovables is controlling their obelisk while the power up comes up. Very key.
Do you remember how many, what percent of Twitch chat voted for Unlovables to win this? Was it something like
Under
17%?
Yeah, under 20%. I think everybody was listening to us too much.
Twitch chat is like, what?
They're like, we're never gonna listen to Machiavelli's prediction again.
Can I make some excuses for the Europeans now? Jet lag or something like that. I can already see Johar just rubbing his hands together in a slightly disturbing way. But moving forward anyway, we have got Juvenile. Finally some pressure. It's been all about the Unlovables over the last minute and a half. Juvenile trying to take some of the spotlight away from them. Pressure on him from bot mode. And again runs into Kane now, who's got the gauntlet out. The amount of times Juvenile today has been looking at a good run to take the soul home and walks into a gauntlet.
I still think the slash too is causing him a lot of problems. Not having a slash for their team and running into this plasma trail, it's giving Unlovables a little extra edge on defense in my opinion.
Yeah, and it is Juvenile who would be the guy running slash, but he's just not rehearsed enough. And wow, that was a double rail we just saw there from bot mode.
Oh,
heaps of damage. Injection used. Now that the animation's gone, he's going to re-enter the fight. Soul was chucked quite far away, but just in time, winrar guys were able to move away.
Now again, winrar has put themselves in a tough position. They got the power up coming up in 30 seconds, but they really can't afford to give up a steal. They can't, so they're going to have to kind of split their attention.
Yeah, this is going to be hard work from them. I'm just seeing amazing pressure at the moment from Unlovables. Oh, he's going to frag himself in the end, but Sen is there to take over. And protection is up next. This is going to be huge. He does manage to throw the soul across. Does it land in the base? It does, but Bus Driver is there to pick things up. Does manage to get the kill in the end, actually on Kane. Pressure from bot mode, though.
Who's going to get
brilliant
protection here? Okay, so Juvenile has, this is big.
Yeah, huge. They need to have a successful attack with this, and they need to get back to base before the protection runs out. Juvenile has it, and he just don't get too distracted by the frags. Run as fast as you possibly can. The route seems fairly clear for him. He's got about, 10 seconds left on the protection. He needs his teammates to be present and in the base, and maybe then once they wipe the Unlovables, they can have a chance to breathe for a fraction of a second before, again, managing the aggression.
Yeah, and be able to lock in on this defense on this point. Once you get settled in and set up, it's hard to break. So but man, they're Unlovables. They're just doing a great job.
They got one thing on their mind, and that is victory at the moment. There seems to be nothing else that's going to happen. We got 3 of the winrar players in front.
Great
and landing some directs at the moment that are just causing chaos for WinRAR. And all the frags, all the blue names are on the left and all the red are on the right. This is just 2% to go, and the Unlovels can do it. The last chance saloon right now for WinRAR. They're still on the solid attack, and we've got all of the players alive from Unlovables. Is this it? Have they managed to secure it? They have done it! Machiavelli, Unlovables, absolutely rinse WinRAR licensed salesman.
Very impressed. It looks like I was right on one point. The experience they get from this, they're going to grow from this, and it looks like they're going to grow from the victory as they move on. So great win.
Unbelievable.
Right on Unlovables.
And unfortunately, I've got Jahar to introduce next to us here, who I'm sandwiched at the moment by two very proud people. What are your thoughts, Jahar?
I have nothing to say. I mean, I think the Unlovables did all the talking there. I mean,
do the walk of shame and just...
No. I mean, this is we're still in the thick of it here. This is going to be good
I
stuff.
heard there's some good duels happening tomorrow where the Euros are doing quite well.
Yeah, so far.
Let's talk about that.
Don't be so down.
I have nothing to say.
Yeah. Well, it does
Tell me what's
look
in that
like
paper.
the Unlovables are going to be putting the WinRAR license salesman on an extended trial here. Machiavelli, what does this do to, thank you, what does this do to your overall picture of the bracket? I mean, this is obviously, great for the Unlovables, but will this have ripples as we move into these other two matches?
It upset my bracket prediction, so yeah.
No.
But in a good way, though. I'm very, very proud that the North American team was able to put on a strong showing like they did. So yeah, we're going to see how they go. They're going to have a tough match next, no matter who it is. It's going to be the loser of Liquid and Stack.
There's a lot of jet lag, actually, that some of these players are going through. It's something that you've really got to sort of be cautious about.
See, Hero was going to ask you about things that happened in the
excuses.
game. What happened in the game that actually contributed to this
I
game?
will learn to accept this result one day, and I'll be fine with it.
But it's not this day, I guess.
I'm impressed with Unlovables. I don't know if it's more that I'm salty that Unlovables won, or just disappointed that the way that the WinRAR guys underperformed in some respect. I was expecting so much more from them.
I would agree with you there. Even from my standpoint, I was expecting a much more competitive match.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a little disappointed in WinRAR's performance. But again, you got to kind of give credit to the victor,
For sure.
Unlovables, for putting them in that position. And man, CCAP, bot mode. I mean, some of the things they were doing. Sen, you see the kill feed, 2-3 kills in a row.
Yeah.
Like it was happening quite a bit. And you got to give them a lot of credit.
No, I mean, I think it's great. They're young guys. They've been performing amazingly, and now these are going to be names that people are going to be memorizing a bit more in their minds from the people watching at home, because there were some amazing frag clips that we're seeing from them. And I think Juvenile is going to be pretty upset at the amount of gauntlets that he was running into this weekend.
Well, you talk about names I'm going to be memorizing. I think Juvenile is rightly going to be one of them. He almost pulled things back in the 11th hour. So despite the way things kind of hashed out, it was remarkable play coming out of Juvenile.
But it always seemed to be the case for WinRAR licensed salesmen. They say, "Oh, we're 80% down. Yeah, let's try something new now and try and make it work." And they just got such a mountain to climb at that point that the avalanche is just waiting to fall on them.
Yeah, and of course, like, inertia is a big part of Sacrifice. I mean, it's really tough to, like, it's just like TDM, once you start getting bad spawns and you start losing that power-up control, it's really hard to kind of like recenter yourself as a team and start going, okay, we need to show up, but I don't have weapons because I just died 4 times to a gauntlet. Okay, well, it's a tough thing for sure.
Yep, absolutely. It's the arsenal, I've touched on a little bit when they were wiping WinRAR on the points, that respawning is one thing. Losing your arsenal, you don't have a rocket launcher, you don't have a rail, so your team is kind of naked, so to speak. They really don't have much to defend themselves with. And then, of course, with Quake, the changing circumstances of Quake, you need the variety of weapons so you can switch to the correct weapon in the correct circumstances. And if you don't have that arsenal, it makes it very difficult.
Well, I mean, it might be worth remembering the advice of a very wise team. When in doubt, gauntlets out. But we do have our top 3 shots here of the many that we had in this matchup. Let's see what we got.
Let's check it out over here. There were a whole heap of just frag runs that we were getting from all sorts of people. Juvenile, is this where he runs into a gauntlet around the corner over here? Yep, it is, yeah. Yeah, this has happened a few times so far. But no, that was awesome play. Leads it back to picking up the points.
That's just so frustrating. I could imagine the frustration.
Yeah. So just when you think you're on the brink of something going on, it just doesn't work out at all. Bot mode's been awesome this game. I swear that wasn't on purpose.
Couldn't make yourself say it.
Awfully awesome.
That frag there was actually pretty nice the way that he was battling against Sparty as well. I think there was also a build-up to that where he's getting the good entry damage ahead of just making Sparty look pretty mediocre, which is quite difficult to do.
All right, cool. Well, just to remind Machiavelli what we're looking at with the bracket now, we're going to see the reality of that thing as we see this double elimination bracket get close to a close. Of course, one of these lower bracket slots is going to be filled by either Team Liquid or Stacked tonight. It's going to be our final matchup here. Of course, we're going to be seeing things close off tomorrow. It's going to be a jam-packed day, but I think Team Liquid and Stacked, I think they got to be breathing pretty heavy right now.
That's going to be a hype game.
Yeah, that's the tough game. I think that is the game in terms of the sacrifice teams. I think whoever can put it together between these two teams, whoever wins, it's probably going to take the whole thing in my view. Unless, but you never know because it's double elim, so Liquid or Stacked, they could make an adjustment, come back in the grand final. But I think it's going to be one of these two teams.
For this particular one, I know I'm not going to be casting it, so I won't be put on the spot about predictions. But I just want to say I'm actually slightly nervous for Stacked.
Really?
Yeah.
Based on
the way they played. I mean, I don't know. There's some logic somewhere. I'm tired, but I'm just
still
nervous.
can't
I'm just nervous.
accept
Yeah.
that Unlovables is just kind of pretty good.
Yeah, they're good. I mean, they're good. But I'm still, I think that the way that Stacked usually play, I would expect more kind of more confidence in the way they've been looking at it. And that hasn't struck me just yet from their first match. So I think really Team Liquid got a good shot at this.
Well, this next match is going to be a real test of nerves. In fact, we're going to be taking a short break. And when we come back, we're going to have the final sacrifice matchup here tonight between Team Liquid and Stacked. So don't go anywhere, or do for 5 minutes.